Well, God bless you this evening. It's so good to see all of you here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I just flew in from Texas, and there are very few things that'll make me leave God's country for the swamp. Joining you all is one of them. So thank you so much for being here today. I love what Tony Perkins does, and I'm grateful to him, and I'm grateful to everyone at FRC and everything that they do. And I'm joining you here today not as a Second Amendment enthusiast, which I am, clearly. I'm joining you here not as a talk radio host, not as a television commentator, not as an author, but as a child of God, and as a mother, and as a wife, and a concerned citizen. And that is why I am here with you today. Because we've just gotten through some very troubling times, and when you look at the headlines and you see the news on the TV, it seems like we're in even more trouble, that just trouble never ends. And I think about the fight that we have, because it is a daily battle, is it not? Day in and day out. And sometimes you just feel so discouraged. And quite frankly, let's be honest, we gotta be real with each other here. Sometimes you just feel straight up hateful. I was raised in southern Missouri by a very strong mother and grandmother, and I had a big family around me, so I know exactly what some of them temper tantrums are like, and some days I just want to have one. Some days I don't want to be nice. Some days some people, you think, some people deserve a slapping, but no, because I'm getting right with the Lord, and that is not what I'm doing. You have those, I say that in jest, but you know the feeling that I'm talking about. And you are tempted. You are tempted in the fight because you want to fight as dirty as your opposition does, don't you? And the temptation is real. But as it's often said, what good is winning the world if you lose your soul? And I say this as someone who is a brawler, you can see my history with it. I've had a long journey to this point. We don't have to sacrifice who we are to win. We don't have to sacrifice our principles. If we give up our values, if we give up the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, why are we here? What are we here for then? What are we fighting for if we give those things up? If those are not the principles that we're holding. Happiness isn't guaranteed. There's something that I've learned in my years of activism. I first got on the radio October 28th. That was the day of my wedding anniversary. October 28th, 2008 was my very first radio show. Boy, what a time to start, right? And I've seen some things since then. Not everybody can handle freedom. This is a hard thing to admit in the land of the free. Not everyone can handle liberty. Not everyone is comfortable with it. Some people, quite frankly, are scared of it. To those people, they look at liberty as a burden. It is a responsibility of which they are terrified. Freedom scares people. It scares them because it's not easy. Liberty isn't easy. Liberty doesn't guarantee happiness. Liberty isn't comfortable. Liberty doesn't guarantee comfort. It doesn't mean that you will never have a trial. It doesn't mean that you're going to live in perfect comfort and happiness and you're not going to have tests. It doesn't mean any of that. But there are people who think that freedom means comfortability, and freedom means no fear, and freedom means guaranteed happiness, and it doesn't mean any of those things. And it terrifies them. They can't handle it. Liberty isn't comfortable, but it's beautiful. It is beautiful, is it not? And for those people, liberty scares them. And they don't trust themselves with liberty, and because they don't trust themselves with it, they don't trust you. They don't trust anybody else. So they ask for Uncle Sam to come and regulate a little bit of it, come and restrict a little bit of it, come and help them with that burden of freedom. And they, in turn, give some of it away. They're scared because of the responsibility. I thought about this actually flying over here. You know, the greatest generation, the greatest generation, my grandparents' generation, they continued the payment on freedom with hundreds of thousands of lives. And so many people today are content to sign that away to Uncle Sam for a meager allowance. Case in point, I'm seeing it with gun rights right now. I'm seeing it with the state of the Second Amendment. Evil's real. It lives among us. And the only thing that overcomes evil is good. That battle has already been won. We know the outcome of that story. Now we have to have the courage to claim the narrative. Because the battle is won. We have to recognize that, embrace it, preach it, shout it from the rooftops. Evil has already been beaten. Why would we give up our freedom for an evil that has already been defeated? Now, I see it right now. I see it in Washington, D.C. I see people like Dianne Feinstein and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. This might be a rhetorical question, but when has anyone ever come out on top after following those people? When has anybody ever won anything following Dianne Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer? I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Dianne Feinstein's looking to make a Christmas tree out of the gun control bill. If they get their way, it's going to be like Johnny Cash's One Piece at a Time, and they are going to ban every single part of a rifle, period, your regular hunting rifle, until the whole thing is banned. That's what they're going for. I know it was made perfectly clear last week, and it was made perfectly clear the week before that. No bans, no bills, period. None of it. And with this, people can't be afraid to fight it. Truth is on your side. This is one of my favorite sayings ever. And I have traveled around the country, and I have worked with grassroots folks, and people say, I don't know, I just don't know. You know, I feel led to do something, but I just don't know if I can get involved at this level. God does not call the equipped. God equips the called. Period. And here's something else. If you sacrifice principle for popularity, you won't have either. You won't have either. Roy Moore, case in point. I call him the Gandalf of Alabama. Here's why. He stood there with his staff, and he pushed back against the forces of secularism, and he said, just like in Lord of the Rings, you shall not pass, when they were going after the 10 Commandments. He's a Gandalf, Alabama. He did not fold. He did not compromise. He had no fear at all. Baronelle Stutzman, florist from Pacific Northwest. I had her on my program. This is a woman who did not compromise. She had every reason to compromise. Some of us probably would have said, well, we understand the full state of Washington's coming down on this woman. They're going to close down her business. They're going to run her out of her home. Well, we might be able to have some compassion and understand her if she bowed to the pressure. No. Baronelle Stutzman didn't bow to the pressure. This grandmother, this child of God, this witness for Christ did not bow to pressure. After years of serving all manner of clientele, she said, you know what? I simply cannot have my free speech of expression be utilized to sanction by commerce something in which I do not believe. And they came at her for it. God bless you, Alliance for Defending Freedom, for sticking up for her, because they came at her for it, and she has still held strong. Sweet Cakes by Melissa. I talked to this wonderful woman and her family of 5. A baker, Pacific Northwest, same thing. For years they served, actually she just got her business off the ground, and since its inception they served all manner of clientele. But when she was asked to use her First Amendment right of free expression to sanction through commerce something with which she disagreed on a spiritual level, on a faith-based level, not out of hate, but out of I honor God first, they came after her. And she continued with her faith, and she continued to honor God, and she did not fold. And it is hard. People think that it's, I guess what, politically incorrect to be a Christian in today's society? I know in today's society it's hard to be a Christian. I get it. I mean, in politics, it's probably the industry that's maybe as bad, if not worse, than Hollywood. I mean, really, I understand it. But that's why you got to push on and fight the good fight. Jack Phillips, hands-on originals in Kentucky. There are so many examples of this. Elaine Photography. When you stand in your faith and you show up here and you do what you do in your communities, you are standing with them. You are giving them the support that they need. You are helping to prop them up. You are being the spine of the faith by standing in the community and pushing back against those forces that would have you believe that good is evil and evil is good. That is what you are doing when you take your stand. We are in a post-feminist era. Feminism is dead. It is dead as a doornail. It is dead. Feminism is dead. Third wave feminism has betrayed women. It has betrayed men. It has betrayed families. It has betrayed children. It has betrayed our culture. Third wave feminism exists to subjugate men, period. They have replaced the patriarchy with the matriarchy. And they are not a good master. I look at this. Third wave feminism says it empowers women, empowers them by convincing women to commit genocide against the female sex in utero. And that's what it is. It is a genocide. Third wave feminism tells us that masculinity is toxic. Masculinity isn't toxic. Masculinity is marvelous. As a mother of sons, as a wife, as a granddaughter, as a daughter, men are wonderful and they are unappreciated. And you know what? You can mansplain all you want to because we womansplain enough. God bless you, men. I pity the third wave feminist that cannot recognize and respect her male counterpart. I mean, for crying out loud, when are they? I feel like we've grown up with these same protest chants this whole time. By the way, the Pink Hat Brigade, where was the Pink Hat Brigade for the forced female genital mutilation in Minnesota? Where were they at? Nobody was throwing birth control pills like Mardi Gras beads up there, so they didn't show up? I don't know. Where were they at? Where are the pink hats for Harvey Weinstein? Notice, yeah. Nobody spoke up en masse until it was confirmed he was fired from his company. Yeah. These third wave feminism, I'm going to tell you what, I say masculinity is marvelous because it is, and if there were more real men in Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein probably would have had a couple of black eyes, because where I come from, that's what happens in the Ozarks if you mistreat women. That's what happens in Flyover Nation if you mistreat women. That's what happens in the real world where real men are around, and that's what they do when women are mistreated. That's what happens. Where are the real men in Hollywood? Where were the Ben Afflecks? Where were the George Clooneys? They were aware of this. Where were they at? They were quiet. They were quiet as women were oppressed and preyed upon. And exactly, where were those Hollywood men at? Yeah. See, the thing is, ladies, it's not that we can't defend ourselves. Because I don't think that anyone would mistake me for not being able to defend myself, or any of you ladies for being able to defend ourselves. It's that we shouldn't have to. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And I should note that I was especially entertained when I heard Harvey Weinstein say he was going to go after gun owners in the NRA. And I thought, well, what are you going to do? You going to grope us? You're going to... I'm curious. Are you going to try to force us to give you a massage? What are you going to... Because we don't take too kindly to that. And does it shock you that a serial predator and a pervert is against women owning guns? I didn't see that coming. Did y'all see that coming? Sexual predators agree. Women should be disarmed. Thanks, Harvey. And you got Dianne Feinstein and Nancy Pelosi and Carlos Curbelo and Chris Murphy and Chuck Schumer that are eager to help them do it. Where are the pink hats? Yeah, where are those pink hats at? So, in all this, I tell you, I don't know if you follow me on social media. Some days it's rough, and I apologize to you. And some people say, how on earth do you get through some of the hate and invectives thrown your way? Well, faith, a good sense of humor, and I pray for them. And I don't say that in the Southern way. Really, God bless you, really. You bless those who curse you. It's not something that's easily achieved, believe me. Again, you can go back in since 2008, it's been 10 years, over 10 years now. You can go back and look at my history in broadcasting. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm trying real hard. I'm trying to get right with the Lord on that measure, and I am trying real hard. You bless those that curse you. You live your life, you live your faith in such a way that it causes non-believers to question their absence of faith. That is my goal, and I'm trying real hard at it. Some days are harder than others. I want to be that light. I want to be that salt. That's what we should all be doing, because there's enough hate in this world, and it's easy to match it. Oh my gosh, it's fun to be indignant. I get it. It's one of the funnest things in the world. You don't have to sell me on it. It's fun. And it's hard to show grace. It is so hard to show grace, and you don't see a lot of grace in today's world. You don't see a lot of grace in politics. But everyone has it, even the people you hate the most. That you shouldn't hate them, you should pray for them. Make your prayer exceed what you feel in your heart and your anger for them. Now, I'll end with this. 2 things. One of the big problems that we have in this country are the identity politics. There's one identity, and this is the only identity that anybody should be using. You are a child of God first, and you are everything else second. Everything else second. You are a child of God first, and way down the line, whatever political affiliation you are, you can use that. You are a child of God first, then you're XYZ. You're a child of God first. If more people realize that common ground, this world would be in a better place. Absolutely. And let us not become weary in doing good. Galatians 6:9. For at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And that is key. If you see a brother or sister who's falling, encourage them. Give credit where it's due. Be encouraging. Speak from love. And if you fail once, that just means you have another opportunity to try again and get it right. And remember to have grace. Have grace in a time where it seems cool to not have grace. Have grace in a time where it seems the people who don't have it are the ones who are celebrated. Have grace when none is extended to you. Because sometimes the only victory is planting that seed. Plant that seed and then just give it to God. I have really enjoyed being here with you guys today. I'm going to be signing books later. I'd love to see you all. God bless you. Go forward, be that example, live your life in faith so much so that it causes people who lack it to question, why? What do you have that they don't? Why don't they have that joy? Why can't they be a happy warrior? And one more person you convert is one less person you got to fight. Remember that. God bless you so much. Thank you.